just gotten back from Chicago, and I wake up one night with terrible pain in my upper abdomen. And I'm thinking, oh, did I eat something bad? Because it was like 4 hours of really terrible indigestion, and a half a bottle of Tums later, nothing was helping. And eventually I went to sleep, forgot about it. A couple of nights later, the same thing happens all over again. Only this time, it's a little more painful. And I'm a little more doubled over. And I'm thinking, this is not indigestion. I better go to the doctor. So I head to my doctor's, and all the way there, I'm thinking, this is like gallbladder attack. And I get there, and she concurs, and she books me an ultrasound. But the ultrasound is a month down the road. Oh, thank you. That is exactly how I felt. So she prescribed some tramadol for me, which is a painkiller. And the attacks did occur, but I made it through the month, and I go to this ultrasound, and it shows nothing. So now they have to do a different test a month later. So I thought, okay, I got through the first month waiting for that ultrasound. I can get through another month waiting for this new test. And this is how crazy I was. I discovered how much tramadol I could take to dull the pain, but not my wits. So I continued filling all those rolls and more because, that's just what we do as women, right? We have all those tests, we get up and we finish them every day. And I was seriously, it was so bad, I'm like, every time I attack for 4 hours on the floor and I'm rolling around, and it's kind of like childbirth or passing kidney stones, if you ever had that pleasure. So I get to this second test, and again, it shows nothing. Not only does it not show, it didn't even work. Like the dyes and everything didn't even take. So I said to the tech, I have to go into the hospital. And he, I can't do that. You have to go see your doctor. So I march to my doctor. She takes one look at me and she says, oh yeah, you're going to the hospital. I had lost 25 pounds in a month, dehydrated, starving. I was actually eating Gerber baby food, pears and squash. That was it. That's all I could tolerate. So within an hour, I'm booked into the hospital. And because you're in the hospital, tests happen a lot faster, right? So within days, the surgeon comes in and he says, well, it's not your gallbladder. It's not some virus or parasite that you might have picked up. It's great big C word, life-threatening, rare form of cancer that required the biggest abdominal surgery known to man. Whoosh, whoosh. That's what it was. And the best part, and I say that very sarcastically, was that the success rate, or the rate of coming off that table alive, was 50%. Hence, the reason I'm here to talk to you today. The cost of not saying no. The cost of not saying no is detrimental to your health. The cost of not saying no to all those tasks we put on our list every day drives women to physical, psychological, emotional exhaustion. Because we think we can do it all, and we can't. Nobody can. Nobody can. And now I'm not saying that that kind of behavior that I was exhibiting leads to cancer or some awful ailment every time. But what happens is you're struggling with lack of sleep because you're burning the candle at both ends. You're struggling with nutrition because anybody that busy doesn't have time to eat properly. You're struggling with anxiety because you get up every morning and you're that rat that steps onto the wheel and you're running and you're running and you're running, and sometimes the only time you get off is when you get flung off that wheel. And you're probably also struggling with thoughts of inadequacy and those negative thoughts because everybody else seems to be coping and getting through the day. Why not you? So what happens is all of that anxiety and tension, that psychology becomes our biology, and it manifests into disease, or at least some kind of dis-ease. So, be do have it all. How did we get into that mess? I think there are a few things happening. First of all, society perpetuates two of the biggest lies ever. One is multitasking, and the other is life-work balance. There's no such thing, right? Multitasking. Okay, so I can walk and talk, or I can do the dishes and talk, and you might be able to add a third very simple task and be efficient. But you can't add all of the tasks that we put ourselves through every day, because what's happening, and the people who are talking about the brain alluded to this, your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. So it's flitting from all those tasks back here, there, and it's not really engaged, it's not really focusing, and you're certainly not doing a good job with any of them. The other lie is life-work balance, and what I have found is the only way to get to life-work balance is if you're sacrificing something. And if you're acting like I was, what are you sacrificing? You're sacrificing your health. There's a couple other things going on. One is the media, because, you watch those commercials and there's ladies in their high heels and they're washing the floor and for some reason they're happy. I don't know what that's about. But then they get in the car and they do all the other things that they have to do. Okay, big lie. And we've bought into that. We think, oh, I want to look like that when I'm washing the floor. But it doesn't happen. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going out on a limb here, but women can be cruel to each other. And so what I've seen happen is we engage in passive aggressiveness, and we make comments toward each other like, what? The cookies that you sent to your son's school weren't homemade? Oh, I could never send anything that wasn't homemade. That's embarrassing. Or your kids you don't drive your kids to school. You actually put them on the school bus. Do you know what goes on the school buses? Things like that, right? So we have to realize that we're all in that boat, and we're all feeling the guilt and shame when the messages are sent to us on a daily basis. Shame on you if you can't keep up. So Dr. Valerie Taylor in Toronto, she says, self-neglect is a big problem for women. They look at everything that has to get done, and they put themselves at the bottom of the list. Well, don't you think it's time to start putting yourself at the top of that list? Don't you think it's time that your needs, your desires, your health, and your worthiness are at the top of that list? Don't you want to be on the top of the list of people who are saying no, setting boundaries, putting limits in place, and they are taking the time to say no and express their potential to the fullest, because they're taking time. And the only way to do that is to start saying no. So we've done a little bit of visualization today. I'm going to do one very short one. So if you don't mind, just put down your pens if you're taking notes. Close your eyes, and we're going to do the deep breath. In your nose, out your mouth. Now, put yourself in a place, wherever it is in your world, where you can take time just for you. And you're taking this time for your passions, for activities that lead you to your goals. Are you there? I want you to feel what it's like to be in that space. Maybe you're taking yoga classes because you always wanted to be a yoga instructor. Maybe you're going to the gym because you want to fit into that slinky little black outfit that was up here earlier this morning. But you're in your space and you're taking your time, and some of you might even be thinking, my health isn't at the optimum and I need to take care of it before it's too late. I want you to feel it. Feel the accomplishment of having taken time for you. Feel the energy that you now have to live and create as you know you were meant to. Okay, take another deep breath. You can open your eyes. So, how do we go about saying no? Well, first of all, we have to own this. We have to own that we're actually doing this to ourselves. Because if we think that we can do all those things, and we're the only ones that can do all those things, fill all those jobs, you heard the list, and many speakers have alluded to it this morning, we're actually sabotaging ourselves. So if you think that you and you alone are the only ones can do that, the one that can do all those jobs, and the only one that can do them right. I don't know how many times my kids said, I already loaded the dishwasher because I got to reload it. If you're the only one that thinks that, you're the only one that can finish those jobs and do them correctly, then that's rather arrogant. Yeah, it's rather arrogant thinking. So I know that right now, probably half of you just went, what? I'm not listening to her anymore. Shut down. I'm not listening to this. Who is she to tell me I'm arrogant? I don't need this. I'm doing my best. And the other half are packing up and they're going, because what did I pay for? To get crapped on? Relax. Congratulate yourselves. High fives all around. Come on, high fives. Right now. High fives all around. Good. Because you just put yourselves first. You just put your feelings first. And you said no. It wasn't a vocal no, but it was a no to me because you're not listening to that kind of crap. You said no. Now, I want you to take that no, and I want you to roll it up with some self-concern and self-protection into a power ball. That is now your power ball. And put it in your pocket or your purse for the next time you need it. I don't see any hands moving. Come on. Roll up that ball. Put it in your pocket. Excellent. Now, don't forget it's there, because you're going to reach into your pocket when you need to say no. So what do we say no to? We've talked about why we don't say no. I have some hints for you about what to say no to, because it's going to be different for everybody. But before I give you the hints, think about the last time you were asked something and you said yes, and you know you shouldn't have said no. I'm sure there shouldn't be a problem, because it happens all the time, right? Think about when you're asked to do something and you said yes. What did it feel like? Did it feel like there was anxiety building up inside of you? Did you feel all tense? And when you said yes, did you feel like maybe you were betraying yourself? All right, so here are the clues. Say no to anything that when you get asked, you do this. Ugh. So it's not showing on the outside, right? That's on the inside. You're cringing, and you're going, oh no, not again. I can't do this. I don't have time. But you don't have the courage yet to say no. And the next stage after that, if you don't have your courage, is this. Because you're going to say yes. You know what? You're on the verge. There you are, slumped over. I want you to step away, like physically remove yourself, if you have to, and find your courage. Become fearless. Go back into that situation and say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do this. I don't have time. All right. I want you to pay attention to your body. Your body is very intelligent. We've heard that this morning. I'm going to tell you one more hint, because this one is crazy. You're at a meeting, say, and there's all kinds of tasks that have to be done. And you know you're going to be asked, because you're the one that always says yes. So you're sitting there and you're going, please don't ask, please don't ask, please don't ask, please don't ask. And again, all on the inside, right? But your body's tensing, your jaw's clenched, and your eyes are closed. Because if your eyes are closed, well, they can't see you. How can they ask you? Pay attention to your body. It's very intelligent. All right. Now, we can do this. This is why we're here today. We can do this. How many of you think that women have always been strong, enduring, capable creatures? I'm going to set you up for success right away. So we already have the capability to do what's right for us. Do we not? It's already in us. And you're already coming to conferences like this one that is reawakening the wisdom of women. And we need to take back our power and find the time and energy to manifest our potential. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? So fill up that cup and keep it full. Now, Judith Sills says, wielded wisely, no, is an instrument of integrity and a shield against exploitation. It often takes courage to say, it is hard to receive, but setting limits sets us free. So realize there's going to be some practice here. Realize there's going to be some mental and emotional squirming as you have to change your paradigms, notice your bad habits, because we've determined what they are, take responsibility, find your courage, and become an empowered you. I want you to stand in your power. I want you to say yes to you. Are we in agreement? Say yes to you. Now, don't say no to everything right off the bat as soon as you leave this room, and you're going to say no. No, she told me to say no. I got to go out and say no now. Right? You're not going to do that. Some people have a really hard time saying no, and I've had women at my table this morning that already said, okay, I have this yes on my forehead. It's slowly being erased. And I said, okay, well, by the end of the day, it's going to be gone. Right? We're going to erase the yes. Okay. So, we're going to need practice. It's going to be, a little bit difficult, but start small. For example, you can avoid, or refrain is the word I want, refrain from answering all your texts and calls as they come in. You're busy. You're busy. And you don't need to pick up that phone and answer that text or that call, unless it's an emergency, of course. But it's a way of saying no. Not verbal, not to somebody's face, but you're saying no, and you're exercising your power of choice, and you're practicing how to say no. Then once you get used to that, move on to something a little bit bigger. For example, you could pick a significant other or best friend or somebody who's going to love you no matter what. And you can tell them that you're making this change in your life for your health's sake and because you want to do things for you that help you grow. Now, once you've established who that person is, pick a situation that happens with them all the time that you want to say no to and you never have. Maybe it's a coffee date every week and you just don't have time for that. And you say to your friend, I need your help. I am going to start saying no. And I don't want you to be angry. I'm doing this for me, for my health. And please help me stay in my no. So I have a gift for you. When you visit my table after the talk, right back there with the red hat and the red head, I have a gift for you. I have written out clear, concise steps that I use to regain my health and become fearless. Some of them were like anticipating when a request was going to come, so I could start conjuring up my courage to say no. Okay? Then I would remind myself that my need to say yes was actually based on false beliefs and detrimental habits. I would also ask myself, if I say no to this, what is the worst case scenario? Is the world really going to end? I don't think so. And then I would work on formulating pleasant but assertive ways to say no. This isn't about being mean or offensive or anything like that, right? It's about becoming empowered, about becoming courageous, about finding and maintaining respect for yourself and finding your power and standing in it. And you will become mentors for other people in your life. And I always say to people, is that really what you want to teach your daughter or your sister? Or it's not. So be that person you want to be. I'm going to leave you with a joke, because laughter is the best medicine. The power of no. The other day, my little boy talked back to my wife. She told him to do something, and he said, no, I don't want to. So I had to pull him inside and say, listen, you got to teach me how to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine. Beautiful talk.